Okay, here are the tools you're going to need to put your letters or numbers and the dots onto your photogrammetry markers. Combination square, or something that you can measure, slide back and forth. I like two of them. An X-Acto knife, I like the skinny blade for that. You'll actually use that to pick up the circle dots and put them onto the backing itself. Utility knife, if you want to use that and not the X-Acto knife for cutting the numbers apart. A nylon type squeegee, you can use a kitchen spatula if you'd like. A pencil or a mechanical type pencil, something with lead on it. And then painter's tape. You're going to want the painter's tape to adhere the numbers, and we'll show you how that goes in just a moment. The first thing you want to do is make sure that the surface areas are clear of any dust and dirt, and some of the dusting could still be there from the cut. So a 3M cloth works great since it's anti-static, so get those nice and clean, and kind of clean up any dust that may fall on your work table, because you do not want the dust to get stuck. The dots do not have a transfer film on top of it, so you'll peel those off directly, but the letters or numbers do. They have a transfer tape on the surface. Do not pull that tape off at this point in time. We'll show you how to adhere that, and you'll pull the tape off at the very last second. So the first thing we really want to do is line up a couple markers. You can do a couple at a time, or you can do a bunch at a time. These are designed so the center of the circle is going to be at 10 inches. So if you measure from the bottom up at 11 inches, that'll give you your top mark for the top of the dot. And if you measure up 9 inches, that gives you your bottom. So you now have a top and bottom. And this is where it's nice to use the little combination square, where you can actually go in, mark off the center, subtract an inch, and that'll give you your sideline. So now you've actually got a square to put your circle right in with your X-Acto knife. So that takes care of the dot. Then you're going to want to transfer that line across to the very edges, because you want the dot to be the same height on the inside measurement as you do on the outside. This material is approximately 1/4 inch thick. So the easiest way to do that is make your marks on the edge with your squares, and then find that mark on the other side. So do the top and the bottom, and square that up, and it'll stand on the table. It'll stand up by itself on its side. And then once you've made those two marks, now you can begin to make the marks across the other side with the other square. Just line it up, and that gives you your top and bottom. So that'll pretty much guarantee that your dots are going to be the same height on the inside and from the outside. I suggest measuring from the bottom, because every once in a while in the bend, it may not be exactly the same length depending on the bend, but from the ground up, it will always be the same then. So that you can line up a number of markers together and make a mark at the ends. And once you've got them all lined up, use your combination square, and then you can get a straight edge. Get them all lined up together, begin to make your marks, and then you can put your straight edge and draw a line across on every single marker at the same time. You don't have to worry about erasing the pencil mark. You can make a partial line. You can make it just on the corners, or you can make a solid line all the way across. It's not going to change the results. You may see the pencil marks. If that bothers you, just make small pencil marks. But you want to make sure that the lines are the same on the inside as well as the outside. The inside is on the inside of the bend. The outside is going to be the longer surface. So that's how we're making the marks, and we're able to put our square on at that point in time, or our straight edge. So that straight edge becomes important. You want to do it on this side, and then you may want to do it on the other side also. So you can see that they bend right over the edge of the table, and they do very nicely. And then you're going to use your little square, and you can make a cardboard template if you wanted to, but this just makes it super easy as far as quickness and consistency. So now you're going to take your first circle. You're going to kind of peel the vinyl back. Be careful, they are somewhat brittle even though it's vinyl. And you want to stick the blade right underneath there and pick it up. And you're going to use the blade now to position the dot So get your top and at least one side together. You can eyeball it, and once you start getting it to lay down there and you're comfortable with it, then you're going to use your finger and just push it down. So you've got a little playroom. Just be careful. If you have to peel up the whole thing, you can rip the circle itself. So once you're positioned, begin to put it in place and put enough down there so you can pull the blade out, and then pull the blade out and just go make sure there's a good seal over that. We'll show you how to use the squeegee on that one, but you're getting rid of the air bubbles at this point in time. So you're going to do this for each and every dot. That's the inside. Now you're going to turn it over and do the outside. And so you're taking the dot off again, putting it right on your knife blade, and positioning it. And once you've done a few of these, you're going to see it's going to go pretty quick. So that's kind of the easy part. Just make sure there's a nice adherence. So now when you get these numbers, they're going to have a transfer tape on it. So you're going to want to cut the numbers apart. What I would suggest is, you can cut them all together, but you don't want to get mixed up which number you're working on. So if you have any backing, like the waxy paper backing, that's sticking above the actual transfer tape, you're going to cut that off. And once you cut that off, then you can use your painter's tape, and you're going to make that like a hinge. So you actually put that on the very top, attach it to the transfer tape, then you're going to pick that up and put it right on the center. And I've got this designed, I've put mine at about 3.5 inches from the bottom. The numbers and the letters are not that precise, but if you want to have them consistency, you've made your mark at 3.5 inches from the base. And then you made yourself a hinge. Now you're going to pick that up and you're going to pull off the backer. And then you're going to start from the hinge and start laying the letter down with the masking or the transfer tape also. This is where the squeegee comes in. And make sure that the letter or number and the transfer tape sticks. Then it's just a matter of peeling off the transfer tape and the number will stick.